when school's not working, I think, when is it working? Or is it working exactly as it was designed, right? I think there's so many open questions, but the piece that got me into K-12, it's something I stayed away from for a long time. I've been in education my entire career, but I've done professional education, continuing ed, licensing. I ran regionally accredited colleges, and I just stayed away from K-12 because to me it was too broken to fix from the inside out, and just this big behemoth sitting there. And then ended up down in Central America for 6 months with the family. And I have 4 kids. We were doing some homeschooling down there, just with the idea of coming back and being ready for school, to get them back into the neighborhood public school. And, we were trying out different homeschooling things like the drill and kill, which that's what you're supposed to do, right? At school. And so we were very much trying to do, school at home. In a pretty conventional way, but it turned out to be just a slog, right? For 2 hours every morning, like just pounding your head against the wall. No, do your math facts now. Then the bribing came in of, well, if you finish, we can go to the pool. And then once we were done with that, like the stuff they would learn in the afternoons and be out, like my daughter, I think she was 6 at the time, she was memorizing the field guide for birds because she got really into birds, and like she just like verbatim start saying, oh, look, there's the whatever. I don't even know what she was talking about, but it was I was like, wow. And the Spanish they got into, whatever it was that they found an interest in, they would go like super deep, where we'd have to pull them away. And then the next morning, rinse and repeat, right? So it's like, nope, back to you need to learn your math. You need to learn or then I'd come up with a really cool idea that I liked, right? Hey, we're going to go see a volcano. Let's make a slide presentation on volcanoes and research them, and like, let's pull teeth that way. And so finally we just decided to call a summer early, and we stopped doing that. But over that time, we were meeting a lot of families who were homeschooling while they were on the road. And to a kid that we met, they were just so mature for their age, and they knew, if they didn't know what they wanted, they knew a direction that they were going. They certainly weren't just a cog in some crazy homeschool wheel. And I mean, we did see all kinds, right? We saw the kind of like school at home, and then we saw the edge of the unschool, where it's like, no, I just don't want to be a parent. Nature supports, we're good. And so, there's a lot of fun and messy ways to get around in it. But we came back. Actually, I didn't want to come back, so we took a vote in Panama City, and like, okay, who wants to just stay in Central America forever? Who wants to go home? It was a tie 3-3, which seemed like not enough to make the family stay in Central America. So we came back just in time for the teacher's strike that year, which was awesome. Not. We got the kids back in school, and I immediately could tell like the way they carried themselves, how they communicated compared to their peers, which is so much greater. So just 6 months away, and they had just developed a whole different sense of who they were and how they fit into the world. And I was like super excited by that. So I went off and I started working on some college alternative ideas that I thought were pretty good. And that's when I really got into the self-directed learning and found out all the cool things going on there. And I came up with this great plan. I started talking to high school juniors and seniors about it, and they didn't know what they wanted to do at all. And if they did know what they wanted to do, they didn't have any skills to be able to get them there. And so that was kind of depressing. And then I looked and saw what was happening with my kids, and, that kind of a walk high, like they just kind of got sucked back into the machine. Right. And they were back where they were, and we're back to having homework fights and all that good stuff. And so I was like, okay, maybe it's time to figure this out. And so that's when I started researching different school models and stuff, and couldn't find anything I liked. So I started making one from scratch. And then I ran across someone who said, Rob, what you're talking about doing sounds an awful lot like what's happening at Acton Academy in Texas. You should go check them out. I'm like, oh man, now I'm supposed to like bring something from Texas to the rest of the country. That generally doesn't work.
There's a reason well. They're a separate country, you know that?
On a separate power grid too. And obviously, long story short, I ended up starting Greenfields Academy in 2014. Micro school, we're looking for a bigger space next, well, COVID, right? So we're a little bit behind, but we're about 40 students right now. We're looking to build out to about 120 students with the next location. And it's really about, helping kids develop the lifelong skills that they need to be the protagonist in their own stories, to be their own hero. And so to pretend that we know what the future holds for them is the most ridiculous thing out there. And to think that, the way we've done things for 120 plus years are going to prepare them for something we can't even, the speed of change now is so fast. And to get them to be able to understand that and thrive with change and help direct change. I think the skills that they need now are just so different than before.